Filler in the Dragon Ball franchise is pretty notorious for various reasons, mostly padding the interesting fights, dragging them out to tedious amounts of episodes. However, I actually find various instances of filler in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z to be pretty entertaining and go against the cliche of 5 episodes to charge up. So in this video, I'm going over my favorite filler moments in just Dragon Ball Z, though I would like to cover filler from the original Dragon Ball series at some point in the future. To specify my view of filler moments, it means any scenes or episodes of the anime that were not a part of the original manga. They were generally added to expand the story and/or give the manga time to continue the fully canon story. Another note, if these scenes were retained in DBZ Kai, they still count as filler. Finally, if I'm covering more extensive filler that spans over a few episodes, I'll highlight the entire filler and then pick my favorite moment from that batch. So here are my top 10 Dragon Ball Z filler moments. Number 10, the Z Fighters vs the Ginyu Force on King Kai's planet. This filler was during the Frieza saga, when we saw some of the most infamous and tedious filler of the whole anime. I mean, Ginyu and Bulma switching bodies and Chi-Chi rallying up the C team to travel to Namek made me smile a bit, but my favorite filler of this whole saga was when the dead Z Fighters fought the dead Ginyu Force on King Kai's not dead planet. Ignoring how it kept cutting away from the important fight, it's nice seeing the characters relegated to background duty doing something of note. Ever since they got to King Kai's planet, Yamcha, Tenshin, Han, and Chaozu mostly stood around. This was basically a video game fight, where logically the characters were not evenly matched, but their powers were balanced for the sake of fun and seeing techniques that never get used anymore. The startup was slow and repetitive before they fought, but at least there was a payoff. This is really the first time we've seen Chaozu fight since his introductory match against Krillin in the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament, otherwise he was knocked out off-screen by Tao Pai Pai and blew himself up. Besides all that, I like seeing Raccoon take the role of leader when the captain isn't around. It gives a bit more insight on their hierarchy and even gives him some character development. Number 9, Kid Buu kills the Kais. The Buu saga had some good show don't tell moments with their filler. The manga would just say things happened off screen when Buu laid waste to a notable group of characters. The two best examples, Super Buu turning everyone in the Lookout into chocolate and Kid Buu killing off all the Kais except for Shin on their home planet. I feel seeing this flashback explains the whole Kai aspect of the series better. We only heard the story of the Kais before this scene, but now we could visualize how they lived in their world and how they fought. We also saw Buu's reasoning for absorbing South Kai and the former Supreme Kai Daikaio, despite purifying Buu in the process. The manga only showed us images of these two when Shin was describing them with only a description of each fight. Overall, it gave us a better picture on why Shin personally finds Buu a threat. Plus, Buff Buu's fight with Daikaio was pretty cool. Daikaio diced Buu up like cheese cubes. Number 8, Gohan and the Robot. Regarding Gohan's training when waiting for the Saiyans to arrive, the manga and Kai just showed him going from a crying child to being able to fend for himself with ease. We just had to assume being in the wilderness during the time skip toughened him up naturally. However, the filler shows how Gohan grew as a 4-year-old child. He mostly meets new friends along the way. When stuck in some ruins, he wakes up a robot that's saving its energy to escape on its own, but Gohan, being a scared child, cannot let the robot rest. Even though the robot tries to ignore Gohan, he slowly warms up to the little guy. The best part of this episode is when Gohan tries to escape the chasm as it's collapsing, but he's too scared to make the jump. Earlier in the episode, he failed to escape for the same reason. You'd think he would have mustered up the confidence to leave on his own this time, but the situation reminds you he's still a 4-year-old kid. This is not something that'll just come naturally to him. So the robot does the only thing he can and uses the last of his power to toss Gohan to safety, showing us the saddest robot self-sacrifice since the Iron Giant. I love that this was a factor for Gohan's growth, since his fears are what ultimately led to his mechanical friend's demise, explaining a part of Gohan's increase in confidence during the time skip. Number 7, everything with Lunch in the Saiyan Saga, or Launch as she was known in the English dub. In the original Dragon Ball anime, Launch was one of my favorite characters. I know she was mostly a one-off gag, but she amused me whenever she got screen time. I even made a potential fighting game moveset for her in my Dragon Ball FighterZ video, so I was happy to see her return in minor parts of DBZ, and I'm probably the only person who's ever said that about Launch's filler moments. Launch was completely absent from the manga at this point in the series, with a rumor that Akira Toriyama said he simply forgot about her. However, Filler was kind enough to give us an explanation on what Launch was doing after Dragon Ball. She just hangs around Ten Shinhan and Chaozu. She's up to her old shenanigans, robbing and getting in shootouts, but now she forces Tien to live with her in a house and not in the wilderness like some weird guy. When he goes to train at Kami's Lookout, my favorite scene in this filler occurs, where Launch attempts to climb Korin Tower to reach him. Her main method of doing so is robbing a teepee belonging to Appa and Bora, who we had not seen since the middle of Dragon Ball. Appa may have grown up, but his eyes have not. If you only saw the original run of DBZ from the first English dub, you probably don't remember these filler scenes very well. The reason being, one of the companies behind the dub completely cut out filler scenes with Launch. I'm assuming that's because Dragon Ball did not have prominence in the US and Canada when DBZ was being dubbed, so someone saw these scenes and said, "Who the hell is this?" I find it funny that this heavily edited dub produced by Saban was preserving Toriyama's original vision of leaving Launch behind. Number 6. Vegeta and Nappa's Adventure on Arlia. It's a triple feature of Saiyan Saga filler. We see the only filler episode before the Saiyan's arrival that explicitly focuses on Vegeta and Nappa. At the time, we knew nothing about these allegedly powerful enemies. This was a great way of teasing the audience by showing Nappa and Vegeta's personality, power, and cruelty. Basically, there's this bug king that enslaves his bug people and took this one guy's bug fiance as his bug queen and imprisons that bug guy. Nappa and Vegeta are almost like comedic foils to this plotline, considering how much of a joke the Arlian troops are in terms of power. With how oppressive this king is, it makes these villains the heroes to the rebels. My favorite part has to be the dark comedy of Vegeta blowing up this planet that just declared him a peace-bringing hero. This episode also allows you to get a good look at Vegeta's short-lived red hair neon armor look. Number 5. Goku vs Pikkon, or honestly, the whole Otherworld tournament. Up until this point in the Z era of the anime, we never got an old-fashioned martial arts tournament after seeing 3 in Dragon Ball. This was a martial arts tournament gathering dead warriors from different planets. It was fun seeing all these new attacks from unique and strange character designs like Fish Guy or the giant caterpillar named Caterpie. Also the first caterpillar named Caterpie. Even some of the designs that were recycled were still awesome, like Alibu, who was basically Hercules with the face of Android 16. And of course, my favorite moment in this mini-arc is what everyone else liked, Pikkon, specifically when his fight with Goku reaches its climax. Pikkon fires out 2 of the coolest techniques in the series, his Hyper Tornado and his Thunder Flash, which does not actually produce thunder. Goku uses Kaioken as a Super Saiyan in this fight, which may have outdone the Thunderless Thunder Flash on the Let's Go Crazy scale at the time, but then Dragon Ball Super made that combination of power-ups possible, so it's less amazing now. Number 4. The driving episode. In this episode, Chi-Chi is tired of going into town without a car, so she forces Goku and Piccolo to go to driving school to get a license, and hilarity ensues. This is the quintessential DBZ fun filler episode where you can just turn off your brain to watch and enjoy. Don't pay attention to the fact that Ox King and Chi-Chi drive various times earlier in the series. They even bring this plotline back in Cell Games filler when Chi-Chi says Goku retook the test off screen and can drive now. Convenient? I guess that spoils this very important episode. Goku does not get his license. My favorite part is a tie between Goku cutting the ignition literally and Piccolo being terrified of his extreme driving teacher. The original English dub had her violently yell "burn rubber" when Piccolo starts up the car, which was not the best line considering these are hovering vehicles. Final note, we need more merchandise with Goku in his off-color Rocco's Modern Life shirt and Piccolo in casual human clothes. Number 3. The additions to Goku vs Majin Vegeta. This was one of my favorite fights in the series, and I was disappointed to learn it was only a few panels in the manga. It got less than a chapter, and by the next chapter, Boo was ready to be hatched. We got a few more panels panels in that next chapter where Vegeta reveals why he allowed himself to be possessed by Babidi, but that was about it for the fight. You'd think the rematch of the century between these two from a warrior race with all of Vegeta's pent-up rage would have more to show off. The manga gave us this cool knee clash, but nothing else remarkable. My 3 favorite moments from this fight that would count as filler were the beam struggle, the confrontation in the cave, and the little energy rings that Vegeta stuck Goku to the wall with. Vegeta just slaps him first. The second time a double slap was integrated into filler scenes of a fight, and then Goku just rips out of the rock wall and smashes the rock still chained to his wrist on Vegeta. Okay, the more I think about it, this is actually my favorite part of the fight. Overall, the Goku vs Vegeta rematch is worth the hype if you go with the anime version. Number 2, the rest of the Z Fighters team up against Cell during the final beam struggle. This really made it feel like a final battle, everyone banding together to stop Cell, even though it was futile in the end. In the manga, Vegeta was the only one to fire a ki blast at Cell during the beam struggle to distract him. While it was a nice symbolic end to his character arc, it still neglected all the other fighters that came to just watch apparently. The only thing Piccolo, Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha did was get beat down by the Cell Juniors until this point, but these guys are warriors, they should fight when they get a chance. Jumping in and risking their lives is in character for them. Piccolo's done it, Krillin's done it, Tien just did it, and even Yamcha tried leading the reinforcement charge against King Piccolo while having a broken leg. It also helped end the character arc of Goku as the torch was passed to Gohan, since the Z Fighters said they were helping Gohan in battle in return for everything Goku did for them, along with shoutouts to Gohan. Definitely some of the most meaningful filler to the veterans of the franchise. For honorable mentions, assume I'm including moments referenced in other entries and these ones. Princess Snake. It's always fun to see a plotline where someone is trying to seduce Goku and him being too naive. I love going back to this episode from time to time. I almost put it on the list, but I did not want to saturate it with Saiyan Saga filler too much. Speaking of, Goku in Hell. Another fun adventure, with Goku falling into hell. The end was a bit of an eye roller, with Goku's only way out starting him from the beginning of Snake Way though. Bulma getting caught by Frieza soldiers. I always found it hard to believe that Bulma was completely hidden during her time on Namek. I like the concept of her having to use her mechs to get through adversity and fight crabs. She also had to outsmart enemies, which is how she managed so well in Dragon Ball. Yamcha plays baseball to make money. That was a really smart idea, and I'm glad Yamcha shows how he can win at life on occasion. It also inspired one of the best episodes of Dragon Ball Super, A Girl Named Lime. This was just a fun episode that felt like Gohan walked onto the set of some martial arts film, and Tao Pai Pai was there because throwbacks are cool. And Good Deborah, I'm not actually sure if I liked this filler or if it's just because I thought he was underutilized and was happy when he got screen time. Number 2 may have more plot significance, but I'm a sucker for when a show has a boss rush or super cameo mode from every character when wrapping up a series, and that's just how the last Kid Buu fight ended. Number 1, every character giving energy to the final Genki Dama, aka Spirit Bomb. The manga started this idea where a few key characters from Goku's past gave energy to the Spirit Bomb that Goku needed to make in order to defeat Kid Buu. However, the anime turned that cameo amount up much higher. Besides being great fan service, it expanded the symbolism of Vegeta saying it was time for the Earthlings to defend themselves for once by contributing to the Spirit Bomb. Finally, what I love about Cameo City was it wrapped up the series with a nice bow. Characters from the 21st tournament all the way up to the Great Saiyaman arc cameo to add a nice reflection on the last 10 years of the series. Of the cameos, the manga only included Bora and Upa, Android 17, and Jingle Village, which was nice but sort of a random array of characters. First off, the anime added Tien, Chaozu, Yajirobe, and Korin, which are pretty significant omissions. After that, my wish came true of Launch not being left behind, and she's apparently a truck driver now. Then it just keeps piling on the cameos after Mr. Satan calls for the people of Earth to help. Nam, Giran, Baba's Monster Fighters, the King, Sharpener, and Erasa, the latter two who just kind of fell out of existence in the middle of this saga. There's even an added part with 17 holding up two guys to trick them into raising their hands. It's a great sequence to watch. Not to mention, the Namekians and King Kai made one last appearance too, non-filler of course. I would have liked it better if DBZ ended right here after Kid Buu was killed, just to cement the feeling of everyone from Goku's past helping him defeat the final villain. So, the citizens of Earth helped close out both the fight and this list. Now, what did you think of these filler scenes and episodes? What are some of your favorite fillers in Dragon Ball Z? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.